We have got a beautiful 9 game MLB slate here tonight, and I have got a beautiful 6-pick flex that I did just lock in myself, that I did just send over to my VIP members that I'm going to be breaking down and sharing with you guys here for free on the channel, breaking down exactly what goes into these plays, my process, and giving you actual plays that I'm placing my own actual money on that I'm sending to my actual VIP members here today, breaking down the process, showing you that I know what I'm talking about on these free videos is the goal, help you out for free. And if you're really looking to step up your game, hop in the VIP package, guys. I don't only offer prize picks, there's a bunch more over there, okay? Prize picks, underdog fantasy, better picks, parlay play, sleeper, all the above. Lately, our hot app has been Underdog Fantasy, so looking to bring that on over to Prize Picks. But if you don't have Underdog, check them out as well. If you go to my YouTube community page, you're going to see the winning ticket over there. The big hitter this weekend was in the WNBA action, rocking with the under on the Ogunbowale Fantasy, Asia Wilson Fantasy, and the under 29.5 points and rebounds on Brianna Store. All of these had better value on Underdog Fantasy than Prize Picks. They were priced higher. Brianna Stewart was priced an entire point and rebound higher. Ogunbowale and Asia Wilson were priced a little bit higher on the fantasy score, all of which I had projected under. So I took advantage of that value. So hop on over in the VIP if you're looking to get really serious. If you're new to the channel and you're like, I don't know if I trust this guy. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. That's fine with me. I'm going to prove it to you right now with these picks here today. Love them. So let's get a sweep, man, and let's break this thing down. The first play that we're going to discuss is going to be Yusei Kikuchi, who finds himself on this popular tab here today, and I have a feeling he's on the popular tab because people are seeing all red and they're taking his under, which makes me happy. This is almost good juju for us here today. If the popular tab is popping and these last 5 game log watchers are taking his under, it makes me like the over even more here. But we'll break down why I actually really like the over, right? There's no feelings, there's no gut or anything in my process. It's all broken down with analytics, data, millions of dollars of market research, and more. So the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer is a tool that I use to streamline this market data, guys. So what does this mean for those of you that are new to sports betting? All of these sports books have lines set for an athlete and every single one of their props to tell us the likelihood that they're either going to go over or under a prop. If you were to go onto these sports books, you have to risk a certain amount of money to win a certain amount of money, and they price it based on which side is favored. So a good example here, Pinnacle is known as the sharpest sports book in the world. They have him at minus 137 to go over 6.5 strikeouts. So that would mean you have to log in, you have to risk $137 to win $100 if you were to place this on Pinnacle Sportsbook, because they're saying it's likely that he's going to go over 6.5 strikeouts. We're going to make you risk more than you're going to win because you're more likely to win. So we have to put that in, we have to price that in. That's how these sports books work, right, guys? So that's the first thing we're going to be looking at. Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. It's giving us a 52.69% hit rate as far as the odds of this prop to hit. Second thing, I'm looking at underlying metrics, guys. So top questions I get asked: do you watch sports? Do you know anything about sports? Do you know this? Yada, yada, yada. And yes, I do. But also I have a ton of different tools and data sets to help me succeed on these apps. And I know a lot about baseball, and we can break down exactly what I know right here using the data sets on the screen for you guys. Yusei Kikuchi, just taking on the Red Sox against left-handed pitching. If you're new to baseball, you don't really know a lot about baseball, guys. Right-handed pitching, left-handed batting, right-handed batting is a big thing in baseball. It's referred to as splits. So certain players have good splits versus righties, certain players have good splits versus lefties, and certain players have terrible success against left-handed pitching on the Red Sox, most notably in the strikeout category. These are the strikeout numbers on the season. For those of you that don't really know a lot about baseball, we'll make it easy for you. Red's bad, green's good for the hitters, okay? And we've seen a lot of bad, which is bad for the hitters, good for the pitching. 25% K rate, 26, 35, 33, 29, 54, and 28%. These guys are striking out a ridiculous amount. I made a joke in my Discord this morning that at this point I'd probably take like a single-A minor league pitcher, left-handed pitcher versus the Red Sox as far as a strikeout prop if there's good value in it, because I mean, you see, they're just striking out a ridiculous amount, man. There's only 2 guys in the lineup that have a low K rate. It's Yoshida with an 8% K rate and Connor Wong with an 18.6% K rate. We can even go to the last 30 days here. You can see they're striking out even more. I mean, a 37% strikeout rate for O'Neill and Devers. It's really bad. And then we break down Yusei Kikuchi stuff. He's got a 28% K rate versus lefties on the season, a 22.5% K rate versus righties. So his K rate's respectable versus righties and really good versus lefties, being that Yoshida's the lowest strikeout guy in the lineup and he only strikes out 8% of the time and he's a left-handed hitter. We'll take that high K rate. There's even a possibility maybe he can K Yoshida here. So all of these things are factored in, right, guys? And then we can even look at the picks mix, man. The pitch mix, okay? So what is Kikuchi throwing? He goes to the four-seam fastball 53% of the time and the curveball 22% of the time. If we look at how these guys fare versus the curveball, it's very bad, people. I mean, pretty much if you can just throw the curveball over the plate, they're going to strike out here. So that's all factored in for us here when I'm breaking down all of these things. Once again, I know all these things. I do all the research for you before I come onto these videos. But I'm bringing it up on the screen to just show you. Like, this is a ridiculously good matchup for strikeouts. Okay, so as you can see, the first play that I'm locking in on this 6-pick flex is the Yusei Kikuchi over 6.5 strikeouts. Second guy we want to discuss is going to be Max Fried. The Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer actually disagrees with me on this one. But this is a good example of, like, I have many different things that I use. The DGF Optimizer is one of them. They're telling us to take the under here. I could not disagree more on this prop. There's a few things going for Max Fried here. A lot of good things going for Max Fried. One is the Detroit Tigers. They are not that great versus left-hand pitching. 2, Max Fried started the season out kind of bad. He's since picked up. 3, the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format in this spot will explain it. I really do anticipate him to get the bonuses here. So if he gets the win, which is if he goes 5 or more innings pitched, exits the game with his team leading, and they never give that lead up the rest of the way. So his team has to give him run support, which they're expected to do here tonight. We look at this game. The Braves are a -200 favorite. So that's huge. We want him to get that win bonus, and then the quality start. If he goes 6 or more innings, allows 3 earned runs or less. Earned runs. They have to be earned runs. So if players make errors in the field and players on the other team come in and score runs, they're not earned. So he won't get negative points for that. Max Fried is as efficient as it gets, and he's got a pretty great matchup here in the Detroit Tigers, who are not too threatening. On the season versus left-handed hitting. Versus left-handed pitching. You can see the Tigers overall, they really only have one guy that's pretty intimidating, and Mark Canha here in the 3 spot. Outside of that, I mean, they're pretty bad. We can even pull up the last 30-day data, and Canha's been really struggling over the last 30 days too. So pretty much you're just fearing over the last 30 days Jake Rogers down here in the 8 spot as far as power, and they don't strike out that much in the bottom of the order, but they strike out a lot in the heart. And then, I mean, Max Fried is a guy that just limits hard contact as is. Like, if you look at his statistics versus right-handed hitting here on the right-hand side of the screen, this is really good stuff, guys, underlying metrics. He doesn't give up a lot of average. He doesn't give up a lot of power. He doesn't walk guys. And then over the last 30 days, I mean, he's just been even better. His K rate's climbed up to a 26% K rate versus those righties, and it's all the way up to a 36% K rate versus left-handed bats. So you can see, like, Riley Green strikes out 26% of the time, and he's a left-handed hitter here in the heart of this lineup. That should add to the strikeout upside for Max Fried, and with him being a -200 favorite, and just his efficiency, man. I do expect him to get both of these bonuses here, the quality start and the win, which will give him an additional 10 points. And these are all just really good things for him. He had a tough outing last time with 4 earned runs, but guys, keep in mind he was taking on the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles are a very good lineup. The Detroit Tigers are not a very good lineup. This is a big difference in matchup. And last but not least, he's got 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in from center in this game. So that's good to help him out with his fly balls, which he doesn't even give up anyways. But if one of these guys gets into a ball straightaway center, the 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in should help keep the ball in the ballpark a little bit more than it typically would on a day where the winds were blown out or the winds, weren't that much of an effect. So Max Fried is just in a great spot here. I love targeting this guy. It just seems like he's priced so reasonably for his talent. Like you see, he went over 64 against Boston, that same matchup that we're targeting here today with Kikuchi. 52 versus Washington, 61 versus Chicago. The 2 times he's gotten blown up against San Diego and Baltimore, both of which have really good lineups that just don't strike out as much and have some power. So expect him to bounce back in a major way in this one. For play number 2, love that. And then the rest of this ticket, man, this is exciting. I actually couldn't believe I was able to lock these 4 props in without a payout shift. Typically speaking on Prizepicks, if you take multiple players from the same team, they're going to shift your payout. We have 4 hitters in Coors Field tonight. So we can start things off with Freddie Freeman. Absolute stud of a hitter. He's only got a 9.5 hitter fantasy score. Hasn't gone over in 4 of the last 5. We don't care. Don't be looking at these game logs. This game is going to be ridiculously good, guys. It's in Coors Field. There are 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, and it's 92 degrees. For those of you that don't know baseball, don't know Coors Field, it is the best hitting environment in baseball. There's a few things going on. One, the dimensions are insanely good. It's got a massive outfield that's very difficult to cover for those outfielders. As far as those balls in the gap, you can see gives up a ton of home runs, triples, doubles, singles, average, on-base percentage, slugging, weighted on-base average, runs, all the above. Like, this is hitter's paradise. 2 for the Dodgers. They're on the road, which means they're going to get the guaranteed top of the 9th inning at bats. If you don't know baseball, once again, if you're the home team and you're leading in the 9th inning and you get all the away hitters out, you're not going to hit in the bottom of the 9th inning, okay? They're on the road, so no matter what, they're going to get the top of the 9th inning at bat, and they're expected to win here, which is going to help our other side of this game picks as well, which we'll discuss just shortly. Weather, guys, a 44.2% increase for home runs and a 4.7% increase for total runs to go along with a 10% increase in earned run average in an 11-game sample size with this weather. It's 92 degrees. It's in Coors Field. There's an elevation change in Colorado, the Rockies. That's the other thing that I'll add in here. The ball flies. Like, Colorado is just ridiculous. And not to mention, if we want to get real geeky about this stuff, like this is all stuff I know, breaking pitches for pitchers don't break as much either. So there's like a lot more meatballs over the plate. If someone throws a curve, if James Paxton's the guy that throws a curveball a lot and he comes into Coors Field and he's not used to dealing with that air, like the ball's not going to tumble as much. It's going to hang right in the middle of the strike zone there to get hit. So it's just Colorado is ridiculously good in so many different ways for hitting. The Dodgers have a 6.81 implied total, and we're getting some really good correlation here because we're taking 2 hitters from their team. If they're expected to put up a big high run total, guys, these guys are going to get a lot of at-bats, a lot of opportunities, a lot of guys on base. And the Dodgers lineup is just really good. Mookie Betts did go down with an injury, so he's not expected to be in this lineup here today, which honestly, like, if anything, it just slides Freddie Freeman and Will Smith up in the order. Like, they're still expected to perform here. And then lastly, we can break down the matchup. Cal Quantrill is a guy, honestly, you got to give him a little bit of respect because he has stepped up his game this year, but he just doesn't miss bats. And when you don't miss bats and you're taking on a Dodgers lineup in Coors Field, like, good luck. He's only got a 14% K rate versus righties, a 20% K rate versus lefties. The underlying metrics as far as the ground ball, the hard contact and stuff has been pretty solid for him. So that's where I say you have to give him credit. But I mean, dude, I got the Dodgers projected for 7 runs, like over 6 hits, over 2+ home runs. The park rating and the temperature and everything you see up here is just green, green, green. Freeman absolutely rakes a 241 ISO, 430 weighted on base average versus right-handed pitching on the season. Will Smith's numbers on the season have been a little bit underwhelming, but we go ahead and pull up the last 30 days, guys. Both these guys are red hot underlying metrics-wise. I mean, a 270 isolated power metric for Freeman, a 263 isolated power metric for Will Smith, 339 weighted on base average. Only striking out 15% of the time is Freeman, and only striking out 17% of the time is Will Smith. So they're putting the ball in play. They're hitting the ball hard. They're in the Dodgers lineup. They're taking on Cal Quantrill. And then last but not least, we want to be looking at bullpen data. The Colorado Rockies suck. Their bullpen has the 3rd worst xFIP in the entire league. You can make an argument some of that has to do with Coors Field, but they're in Coors Field tonight, so we're good. They have the 3rd worst bullpen. The Dodgers have the 14th worst bullpen, which we'll get to here shortly. But yeah, the fact that we can take the number 3 and 4 hitters on a team in Coors Field with 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out with a 6.81 implied run total, Yes, please. And then we can go ahead and pull up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer for some underlying metrics for these two guys. Freddie Freeman will be our first one. And they're going to have these guys both projected over, I believe. Freddie Freeman did receive a bit of a bump. Yeah, so they got him at 9.6. So they have him barely going over. But once again, we're looking at that positive correlation of getting both these hitters. And then if we go ahead and we pull in Will Smith here and put him in the DGF Optimizer, I know he's favored on all these sports books to go over as well, which these sports books are factoring in everything that I just discussed. Yeah, he's all the way up to minus 135 on DraftKings, minus 135 on BetMGM. All these sports books. Would not be surprised to see this prop get taken off the board, honestly. So absolutely love those plays here for our next two. And then to round things out, guys, we're going on the other side of this game with Ryan McMahon and Jacob Stallings. They get to take on James Paxton, who's probably the best pitcher we could ask to be in this matchup if we're targeting hitters from the Dodgers pitching aspect in the rotation, because he stunk. This guy's getting so lucky, bro. It's actually unbelievable. He is due to get blown up here. If you look at his numbers on the season from like an earned run average, an ERA aspect, he's got a 3.92 ERA. That is so lucky. I can't even he gave up 6 runs versus the Pirates in a recent outing, 5 runs time prior versus Cincinnati. That's honestly the kind of outing I'd expect here. He doesn't miss bats. He's given up a ton of hard contact. He's gotten really lucky. And the Rockies are a team that's actually a lot better versus left-handed pitching, which is going to work in our favor here. So we'll start things off with Ryan McMahon. He is a left-handed bat. He's lefty on lefty, but he's actually hitting left-handed pitching over the last 30 days, actually more effective than righties. He's got a 292 ISO, a 401 weighted on base average, only a 24.1% K rate. And he's going to hit in the 3 spot for this Colorado Rockies lineup that does have over a 5 implied run total here today. So we'll take him. What's crazy, honestly, we just discussed Will Smith. Typically speaking, in a Coors Field game, you're going to get this 2.5 line because the hitting environment is just so good. We're getting 2 players with a 1.5 hits, runs, at RBI, which is pretty insane in Coors Field. It's the Rockies. They're not the best lineup, but one I said, they're a lot better versus left-handed hitting. Left-handed pitching, and they're in Coors Field with this crazy weather. Yes, please. I am really excited about this ticket. So yeah, McMahon will be our first guy that we go ahead and we lock in here. Would not be surprised to see this prop get taken off the board either as the day goes along. And then our second guy is going to be Jacob Stallings, who's a right-handed bat that does crush left-handed pitching on the season again. His last 30 days, he has a 545 isolated power metric and a 629 weighted on base average. That's ridiculously good. So both these guys are actually arguably the 2 best hitters in our lineup versus left-handed pitching on the season. Stallings is going to hit in the 6th spot. He's expected to. And McMahon's going to hit the 3 spot. So we'll take that, right in the center of this order. Hopefully some guys will be on base for them when they come up. A nice little base hit to hit a guy in, or a nice base hit and then they get hit in is going to cash the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And last but not least, like I said, I'm always looking at all these different things, market data. Right, it's all going to match up here. So if we pull up Ryan McMahon in the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, we're going to see very quickly that he's favored to go over on these sports books, which we like. We want as many data points pointing to the plays that we're taking as possible, right? He's minus 130 on the over on DraftKings. And if we go to Jacob Stallings, he's also going to be favored on the over. Minus 120 on DraftKings, minus 120, minus 125, minus 130. Not crazy favored, but like I said, guys, the correlation is just so good in this ticket. If you don't know baseball, man, we're getting multiple hitters in the same lineup in Coors Field with crazy good hitting weather. And if they put up this amount of runs, these guys could get literally 6 at-bats apiece. The lineup's going to continue to turn over. They're going to continue to get a bunch of at-bats. If Ohtani's getting hit, Hernandez is getting hit, walk, and they keep producing and they're going up and down the order, the better the entire lineup does as a whole, the more opportunities these hitters are going to get, the more opportunities they're going to get to cash their props with guys on base, opportunities to hit in runs, etc. So I love this ticket today, man. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. like I said, man, obviously I'm back in the plays with my own money. I'm sending to my VIP, so I really want these to go well. If you're new to the channel, you're not going to get any plays that I'm not actually playing myself. And you're going to get a ton of different knowledge tuning into this content, learning. The VIP is the next level. If you haven't hopped over there, hop over there ASAP right now. I'm telling you right now, it's $1.66 a day. I don't know what you're spending your money on throughout the day, coffee, whatever the case may be, but you're spending more than $1.60 on things that aren't going to make you any money. So hop in and use the tools, the picks, etc. that I provide. So go ahead and start cashing with us. Like I said, not only on Prizepicks, Underdog Fantasy been the big winner here lately, but we're gonna bring that sweep action over to Prizepicks tonight, man. I love this play. I love these plays. I love these plays. So lock them in as soon as you can. If you enjoyed the content, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks MLB player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.